Hi everyone, welcome to the Tarot Circle. It's the 4th of June 2024 in the US and Canada, and it's June 5th here for me in Hong Kong. I'm Ali, and I'm going to introduce my lovely Tarot Circle ladies before I start telling you about what we've got planned for today. Who shall I start with today? Kaila, how are you doing today? You're looking summery and lovely.
I'm good, thank you. Hope everyone is doing well.
Good. Lynn, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Hope everybody's doing well too.
Barb, how are you doing, my love?
I'm doing good. Just got off the road and visiting some relatives. And so I'm good. You know, when you're with relatives, it's always good. Well, usually.
Well, hopefully. Depends who they
What
are.
about you? What about you, Ali? You're looking really nice and bright today.
Oh, thank you. I'm tired and stressed, but I'm all right.
You always look good because it's when we're recording. It's always in the morning for you. You always look so glamorous.
Yes, it's because I just zing. Yeah. You just want to see me at like 6 p.m. in the evening. It's like
that's that natural path, the natural pathway of living. That's what it is.
Yeah, be early. Right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a woo show for you today, and we'll be discussing some weird and wonderful things. Stuff that's happened to us personally, and generally we're going to be talking about hatmen and shadow men. But first of all, we're going to be pulling cards on Trump's recent court case in New York, because that's all fun and games, and people are wondering, you know, what the ramifications are of this. And we'll end with Lynn's usual 2-week pull. So first of all, just some admin. If you like our content, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. If we can help you with a reading at all, just go to the link below. We've got a little Facebook community now, which is called the Tarot Circle Community. So find us there. And we really appreciate any effort that you do to share our content. And yeah, we just really appreciate kind of any interaction that we have with you guys. And so first of all, let's clear the energy today. I feel like the energy needs to be cleared. So I'm going to hand it over and stop my barking dog. Going to clear the energy and hand over to Kaila and Lynn to do the honors. Thanks, ladies.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. So very happy to be here today with you all. And Lynn has a lovely new instrument to share with us today. As we move into the sound clearing, we just want to sit in gratitude for all of the love and protection that's constantly around us, if only we would open our hearts and spiritual eyes to see. Let's take this moment to lift our vibration together, as when we exist in high vibrational energy, it only serves to bring more positive energy to you. We thank God, source energy, our angels and spirit guides, our higher selves, and energy of the highest light vibration, serving our highest good only. We ask this to remain, and everything else must leave now. Over to you, Lynn.
Back to you, ladies.
It really does sound like it is tuned to space as well.
I really like that last thing that she did.
Yeah, it's very spacey. Very spacey.
Love those
Right.
things.
So, recently
Whew.
we had that Trump court case in New York, and he was convicted, and apparently in July he's going to get a sentence and he could go to prison. So our first poll today is what's it all about? What's that all about? What does the universe want to tell us about this recent Trump case? Who wants to pull? Who feels drawn to pull on this particular case? Anyone got cards in hand? Anyone keen?
I
Go
could
Barb.
pull.
Go Barb.
I have my small tea room miniature cards. They look big on the camera, but they're actually half the size because a regular card would
Because you
be
got
like
baby
this.
sized hands. It's because you little hands.
My hands when I was in elementary school, you know, kids are so awful. When my hands are like kind of wrinkled, you see? And it's not because I'm 70 years old. No, I'm not 70. But of course,
You haven't got
but
wrinkled hands. What are you on about?
yeah, look at those veins. And the children at my elementary school, because they've always been like this. The children at my elementary school used to call me graveyard hands. They're so awful. Isn't that awful? Rat
Yes.
hands, graveyard hands. Well, hey, kids are awful sometimes, but made me stronger.
Graveyard
Anyway.
hands. That's interesting.
Yeah. Look, I get you, my little pretty. Yeah, look.
It's just because they're lean. You haven't got much you haven't got much fat on your hands, have you?
Well, I need
mean,
my whole body. I need my whole body to be like that, not just my hands.
I mean, it could be worse. You could have sausage fingers, can you?
Oh my. All right. All right. So we're gonna pull on Trump. Now, how do we formulate the question?
We could just take a general look around this court case. What does the universe want to tell us specifically about this?
Court
The New
case
York
verdict,
City
everything in
Barbara.
general.
New
The
York
New York
City
City one.
Yeah.
Is that the one that he just had?
Yeah.
Yep. That's the one that they
Okay.
just got the verdicts
Let's
with.
do a
Yep.
general look around the court case, the verdict, all this stuff, the whole shebang. See what the universe wants to tell us about it. Did you all actually follow the case? I just saw the verdict.
Yeah, same.
Okay, let me
Same.
see how I'm gonna do this. All right.
I've been following it. Kaila, you've been following a little bit.
In the beginning, and then I kind of
Yeah.
lost track
Yeah.
until the verdict.
Just on a complete aside, has anyone been having strange weather, like unusual weather where they are? Or has it all been quite normal for this time of year?
It's been cooler than normal, really,
Is
for
it?
us. But I'm
We
not
had
going to
some-
complain.
Yeah.
We had some windy, very windy and tornado warnings in certain parts, but that was about 2 weeks ago or something. Now it's a bit better.
How's it been for you, Barb? Has it been normal Florida weather? You're muted, mate. You're muted.
Sorry about that. Florida weather has been very, very normal. I haven't seen many of those
Chemtrails.
chemtrails either. So something is happening.
It's just been very wet, and it's been a bit cooler than normal, but it's just been permanently wet here. It's like, can we just see some sun, please?
Okay, I got in. I got the pull.
Right.
Yep, general look. That's it. Pull it right on up so we can see.
Okay, so the first card down is the 9 of Cups, so that's Trump, right? And then the 5 of
Well,
Wands is
actually, the way I asked it,
situation.
I didn't ask about Trump in particular. I said the whole general, what we need to know about this whole court case, the verdict, and all this stuff that's going on around Trump in that New York case.
Okay, so probably that's the 9 of Cups, is it? The situation, the actual court case? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. So it's the 9 of Cups. So that the 9 of Cups is a wish come true card. So there's something that was desired and for that to come. So wish come true. Aspected with the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands is internal conflict. I guess it wanted to actually cause conflict, wanted people to kind of like get a little bit roughed up about it and kind of thinking. The Nine of Wands, I get that as, you know, the good military or the good people, because that's an integrity card.
Yeah.
And the Hangman is kind of like waiting to see what, basically in the middle of all those three cards, it's like waiting to see how people react. They wanted to do it to see how people react. And the Three of Wands, at the bottom and middle, with the man with his back turned towards us, for the people that are learning tarot, that's kind of like waiting to see what's going to happen. What would you all make out of the Knight of Cups aspected with the devil? They want to cause an outroar with the devil under the Five of Wands, and would cause an outroar. See what's going to happen. What would you all add to that? Because Nine of Cups is like bringing something towards you, and cups are emotions. So basically, it's almost like,
I think it's bringing to light, you know, how corrupt the court system is, you know, the battles with court systems, and not even just, you know, for Trump in per se, but just people in general. I mean, how corrupt the system is.
I sort of feel with that Knight of Cups, it's a slow and steady kind of one. You know, I think it's good, continuing like the drip feed of a lot of stuff that's going on at the moment. And I feel like this is just part and parcel of it. It's interesting, isn't it, with the Wheel of Fortune and the Ten of Swords? You know, we've just got to go, yeah, whatevs, it'll be right, it'll come good, and things are going to flip.
Yes,
with
and
that
with the King of, sorry, Barb,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I
You
was
were just saying
gonna-
about the King of Cups?
Yeah, I was just going to say with the King of Cups, you know, he usually represents something hidden, something cloaked, like a different reason behind, because we're going off into new territory with that Three of Wands. It could also be suggesting to keep your emotions, you know, calm, because he is one who is surrounded by a lot of emotions, but he keeps calm amidst all of this. And with the Wheel of Fortune and the Ten of Swords, it's something is flipping. It's the end of the road for the devil, as we see here. And I think with that Hanged Man, it's also enlightening, as you all have already mentioned, enlightening people about that devil energy and a need to look at things in a different way. That's all I wanted to add.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Wheel of Fortune is, and with the Ten of Swords, it's like surrender to change. So it's a surrender to change. So that Ten of Swords is like surrender, and it's like you can't help it. It's going to happen. And tens are endings as well. So it's going to be the beginning of something else, because tens are endings, and then you're going to start all over. But the Wheel of Fortune, yeah, surrender to change. So basically, all in all, I see that this is meant. They wanted to do this on purpose. They wanted to use him as the how did you call it, Ally? They used Trump as an example, as a fall guy, as a fall guy, to kind of open up and have this happen to the other people before and after him. You know, these politicians and these people that are kind of, calling the shots in the world. So and the King of Cups, yeah, it's the public don't really know that's what's happening. Because if you go talk to people, they're saying, oh yeah, that's great that happened to him. That's great that happened to, what happened to Ally?
I'm sure she'll be back. Keep talking.
Yeah. So basically, you know, there's people that are so happy, like on my Facebook page, they say, oh yeah, they just, you know, they finally got him, and they said guilty 34 times, and these types of things. But there's people out there that totally walking in the dark. They have absolutely no idea what's going on. So that King of Cups could represent, you know, the bird's eye view of everything that's going on with this case. A lot of people just don't know. Some people know, like us. we have the cards to help us understand it. And then, you don't really need the cards to understand that. You could just feel it, that's what's going on. If you pay attention with all the stuff that's going on in the world.
Yeah, I agree with you, Barb. That's a really good way to look at it. I wonder if Ally lost internet connection. I hope she's going to be back on soon.
I'm trying.
there she
There
is.
she comes. Oh,
Oh.
and she's off again.
Did we want to go
we'll
ahead
hold
and do
on
the
because
second poll? Oh,
it does say it's recording, so we should be okay. Yeah.
there she
Yeah,
is.
okay. Yay, you're back.
I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened.
What happened?
I don't know.
Why?
Just
We thought you dipped out on us. Where is
I
she?
did. I did.
So
What did I miss? What did I miss?
so basically with that pool we were just saying, Ali, the whole thing, can you all hear voices in the back or something? Is it okay? Is it too noisy?
It's
No.
okay.
Okay.
No.
So basically we were basically saying that this whole thing was used just like we kind of thought it was, to use him as a fall guy to open up the possibilities to go ahead and make sure that happens to other politicians before and after him. A lot of, and there's the King of Cups at the bottom of the deck. And I kind of see that as, a lot of people are saying, oh yeah, that's what he needed to happen, 34 counts and everything like that. But little do they know, there's stuff that's hidden behind the whole thing. So this is what they wanted to happen. So I don't know if you wanted to add something to that.
Yeah, no. That's what I heard too, that this is a precedence for the presidents. So what question should we ask on this? Is that true? Is this why it's happening, to be able to set these precedents?
Yeah, we have 13 of them listed that Tori says, and they're here on the screen share. So I would say, did this case, or do all of them, are they all related to setting the precedents, these precedents?
Okay. Okay, good. Anyone particularly keen to pull on this? Kaila's got cards
I
in
can
hand.
pull. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm not sure because it was really weird because my Wi-Fi looked like it was solid for once. It just I don't know. Is strange stuff? Is it the full moon today? Is it the full moon today or this 6th or
I
something?
believe it's on the 6th.
Yeah.
No, that's the
Close,
new
aren't we?
moon. Full moon's not until the 21st.
Oh, yes, the
Okay.
new moon, yes.
I can't remember what this new moon's supposed to be about. It's definitely been affecting me for sure. So
yeah, there's a lot of static. There's a lot of static, Ellie, a lot of stuff. Oh, by the way, when you were kicked off, it was cool because Kaila automatically became the host.
amazing.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Amazing.
And it was still recording and everything.
Probably
far better than moi.
Of course
No,
not.
you do a great job. I take my hat off to your hat. Chapeau. And I kind of like the British accent. I like to hear you talk like that.
I'm doing
Absolutely.
Hang on. Just like sit. Yeah, I'm
You're muted, Kaila.
Oh, sorry. This is the first card. Ace of Swords.
Oh, nice.
Are you going
that's
to take a
very-
picture?
Yes.
Kaila, you going to take a picture? Okay.
Yes, I'm just laying out all of the other cards.
So
already by that first card. Oh yeah, already by that first card, it's already with his swords, with his thoughts and words. That's already outspoken. It's outspoken. This whole thing about the precedents. There's a lot to be said. In fact, there's 13 things. And I like that he used 13.
Yeah. I keep hearing from an astrological perspective that June is going to be a bit crazy, with lots of lots of kind of revelations and things, and I really, really hope that it all comes to pass. Apparently, the latter half of June is going to be slightly more chilled than the beginning, so I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, I do wonder what this will kick off. All right. So
There goes that.
What-
There goes the devil card again.
so your question, Kyla, was will this set off the
No.
precedents? Is
Yeah.
that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Exactly.
Mm. So the first card down, the Ace of Swords, which is a big fat yes. And we've also got next to it the King of Swords, and he's always about truth. So that's interesting. And then we've got the Nine of Swords, which is the unnecessary worry. Who do you think is the unnecessary worry for? Do you think it's for people that think he's going to go to jail, or
Might
do
be
you
the
think
normies that don't know everything. Yeah,
yeah,
could be.
Yeah, I think so.
I
yeah,
think it's going to be not only for the normies, but for the other people that are the other politicians and those people, the globalists that are against him.
well, I hope that's necessary concern, not just
Yeah.
unnecessary.
Do you think
I hope
because
that
behind the scenes they're picking up on this precedent being set? Barb, do you
Mm.
think that's why?
What'd you say?
Do you think there's a worry for those bad guys because they're picking up on this precedent being set?
Yes,
Mm.
because that list, I didn't get to read the whole list,
Mm-hmm.
but it said a lot of things that could persecute other politicians as well, I believe.
Mhm.
In particular, past presidents. Yes.
Yeah,
Exact, and that's who we're basically
And
concerned with.
yeah,
I was
there's still. Yeah. Go ahead.
sorry. I was watching some video the other day, and it was saying about Hillary Clinton's been involved with, is it 80 or 90 people's deaths? Not involved, but they've kind of died around her, which
Mhm.
I
wasn't
think
sure
there's more than that. There's like well into the 200s of people that mysteriously died around Bill and Hillary. Yes, a lot
really?
of
Oh my God.
suicides. Oh yeah, tons of them.
Oh my God. Oh, that's super interesting, isn't it? And
So
yeah, and I also
Oh.
saw, which I didn't know, that JFK Jr. died when he was running against Hillary Clinton as a
Senator in
presidential
New York.
Oh, right. Okay.
Senator.
Yeah.
Senator, New
Okay.
York State Senator. Yes.
I didn't know that. I mean, oh my God. I mean, that's just insane, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, even although some people think that he kind of faked his death, so
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that's what it is, but it's all this mysteriousness around her and her husband Clinton. It's just, it makes you say,
Well, it'll be so much fun when all that stuff comes out, right? I mean, not fun to know that she's been involved with so much nastiness, but it's going to be
It's
really
about time.
interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be really super interesting.
In fact, that sun with those rays, it's like shining light on
Mm-hmm.
the information that's going to come out through these
And
precedents.
Right. And the facade with that 10 of cups.
There's still something hidden though that we don't even know about.
Yeah.
That's probably going to come out with that 4.
Mhm. True.
Yeah.
But we're all
I
going to
think
prosper with it, with that Empress on the bottom.
I think there's going to be a lot of stuff that comes out that we're not aware of, and perhaps the sun indicates, the financial system. Did you guys watch the zodiac poll that Janine did for June? The other
I haven't yet.
I haven't
the
seen
other
it yet.
day.
Yeah, I forgot she
And,
did that.
She got in the 12th house, the sun, and she was saying again, alluding to something with the financial system. I
Yeah.
saw something on the news very briefly this morning about the gold has been moved around from somewhere, and I can't remember which country, but I'm thinking,
it-
oh, that's interesting.
India, I think, is moving gold out of the UK or something like that.
I think it was, wasn't it reported in the India Times that the UK was moving it around or something? I don't know. Anyway,
Since that four of swords is there right next to the sun could be the gold standard. So there might be something coming out regarding the gold standard as well.
Or the littles.
Yeah.
The little people.
Or the
Or a
littles. A lot of times
combination.
when the sun
Yeah.
comes up, it's information about
Yeah.
the littles too.
And there's little ones on that 10 of cups too at the bottom right.
Yeah. I believe
Yeah.
it's all tied together.
I mean, and
Oh, boy.
I absolutely love the Empress card on the bottom, and she's really one of my favorite cards in the deck because she's sovereign, she's bounteous, she's all about nature, isn't she? And hopefully that's the way that we're aiming for. And with the 9 of Wands and the Devil, it basically says to me that the Devil's time is up on this world, in this world, and you know he's moving on.
Yep,
Good
and all
news.
of those behaviors,
Mhm.
you know. So
Yeah.
at least for the ones that are calling the shots for the world. Yeah.
Do you want to pull a couple more cards, Kaila, to see kind of on a timeline for the precedents that might be coming out? Maybe pick 2 or 3, whatever you feel called to pull.
You mean like when is it actually going to be used, or
Yeah,
when is it going to be used?
because if these presidents are going to be hauled over the coals, are we gonna be talking like, in the next 3 months, 6 months, year? Is it gonna be bang, bang, bang really quick after all of this, or are we gonna wait a little while?
Knight
I
of
know.
Swords first
So
come.
that says quite quick,
Good
right?
military, and this is quite
Yeah.
quick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next one, Queen of Pentacles. I'll just pull one more.
Yeah.
And the Lovers.
What do you guys think for timing there?
What was the first card? I was
A Knight of
pulling
Swords, Queen of Pentacles, and the Lovers card.
Knight of Swords.
See, the Queen of Pentacles are fairly slow, aren't they? They're like months. Anyone know kind of what kind of timing Queen of Pentacles would allude to?
The Queen of Pentacles usually indicates that something has to actually manifest before it happens.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as timing, something has to actually manifest before it happens. So
I kind of get that sense with the Lovers too.
That makes me feel like governments, like something has to happen with the governments first. I mean, it's all
For some
related,
reason-
right?
For some reason, 2 came into my head. I don't know if it's 2 weeks, 2 months. 2 months was the first thing that popped into my head. Let's see.
You would think more 2 months with that Knight of Swords. 2 weeks, well, it'd be
Yeah, it's
great,
kind of
wouldn't it?
quick.
But
Yeah.
yeah. But
And-
I think, yes. Sorry, Barb. Go on.
I think that the Queen of Pentacles is Capricorn. I have it here down as Capricorn. So Capricorn would be
Mhm.
December,
That's
January
the
timing.
year. Yeah.
Well, the Lovers is Libra, Gemini. So we're getting through Gemini now. So maybe September, going into
Mhm.
Libra season.
And I feel like something would have to start coming up about this before the election.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Which
Which is September. Our election isn't scheduled until November 4th or 5th.
Mhm.
Mm.
It's not going through, but it's scheduled.
So yeah. So maybe sometime between September and before the what
Maybe
happens.
even between now, because we're already in Gemini season. Could be between now and September.
Yeah. Okay. Any more questions on this for now? I mean, there's a whole load of questions that we could ask on there, really.
Yeah.
We can dig deep on this
We
one.
could go, we
We-
could do a whole
yeah.
show on this one.
We could do several shows on this.
Oh, good Lord, yes. good
Episode number
Lord.
1, episode number 2, episode number 3.
Yeah, yeah. It could be like the fall of the cabal. How many episodes later?
Oh wow.
All
That was
right.
long
So,
stories.
so let's start talking about woo stuff, as this was originally going to be just a woo show, but we wanted to pull on that Trump question. So we thought it'd be really quite fun because we've all, I mean, most of us in this world, and certainly people who are watching this, I'd imagine, have had kind of woo type experiences, which we can't really explain. And so we wanted to pull on our woo experiences. And if you guys watching this have had similar woo experiences, or any kind of woo experiences you want to share, please put them in the comments below, because I'm sure everyone will be super interested in these. So what we're going to do is we're going to each talk about a woo experience that has happened in our life, and then we're going to pull cards on it to see what the meaning or any particular question that we have around that.
Yeah,
who wants
yeah.
to
Let
go
us know your
first?
woo experience. Let us know
Yeah.
your woo experiences down below.
Yeah.
And if everybody doesn't know what woo means, WOO, it's like supernatural or unexplained things, mysterious things.
Mhm. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
a lot of people don't know what that is. So yeah.
Okay. Who wants to tell us about one of their woo experiences first? Anyone keen to kick us off?
Should we start with Ali this time?
Oh goodness.
Oh,
all right.
Ally.
Oh goodness. All right. So
Oh, just tell us something.
so when I was 17, I was coming home with my best friend Joe. Hello, Joe, if you're watching this. And our boyfriends at the time. And they were dropping me off outside my parents' house. Now, it was a 2-door car. So if you think about a 2-door car, 3 people have to get out if like one person's in the back seat. And we looked up to my parents' spare room window, and we saw a figure walking towards the window, looking out, and then walking back. And it looked like an older man. It didn't look like you could just kind of tell from like that shadowy kind of figure. And all of us saw it, because they're all like, oh look, your dad's checking you're home, as you do when you're 17. Anyway, when I got into my house, my brother was downstairs. He was just making something to eat. It wasn't him anyway, it wasn't a younger guy. And my mum and my stepdad were in bed. So it was like, who the hell was that? Yeah, who was it? What was their intention? Well, what were they doing? And were they looking for me, or was it like a kind of snapshot in time, if as it were, like often with kind of spirits and things like that, or was it something specific for me?
So you were in England at this time?
Yeah, this is in the UK. Yeah.
In the UK. And everybody in the car saw it?
Everybody in the car saw it. So it wasn't just me being crazy.
That wasn't you just being woo.
No, it wasn't me just being woo.
So so basically a person came to look out the window and then went, so they were in the house upstairs, you say?
Yeah, it was an upstairs bedroom, and we were quite like the road was quite very small kind of front garden, so you could see pretty well, and it looked like a proper person. It didn't look shadowy or weird in any particular way at that particular point, and it just looked like someone walked towards the window, looked out as if to say, who's that car sort of pulling up, and then walked away again.
Did you have any experiences in this house before?
No, it did feel a bit weird afterwards, though, I have to say, but I'm not sure if I was just weirded out by this whole
And
experience. I can't remember.
It wasn't your brother?
Definitely wasn't my brother. No.
And you asked everybody, right?
Yeah, well, like I say, my mum and my stepdad were in bed, so it wasn't there. And I was like, did you just get up? No, no, you know.
Mm.
So yeah, I see Kyla shuffling cards.
I
New
think
music,
Lynn
mate.
is also. Lynn, are you shuffling? Yeah,
Uh,
I think
all right,
Lynn
Lynn.
is doing it.
Okay, okay.
Were there any like in your neighborhood any because I try to go by logic first before I before I go woo. Were there any type of
Before you go full
like
woo.
before I go full woo before I not awake but I wook. So were there any like break-ins or anything in your area or
Not that I know of. I mean, this was like late 80s. Late 80s. It was pretty safe area. Definitely wasn't anyone in the house, as anyone physical in the house, because it wasn't a big house. So we certainly would have known that. And the spare room was right next to my parents' bedroom, so they definitely would have kind of
heard
known.
something?
Yeah.
How did it make you feel? Did you feel like intimidated, afraid, or did you feel like somebody's trying to steal something? How do you feel?
At first, when I saw this figure, I thought it was my stepdad, but then of course it wasn't, because he was in bed. So, but afterwards, I did feel a bit weirded out by the whole thing. I was like, well, if it wasn't my stepdad, who the hell was that? All right.
So did the image look like a male to you,
Yeah,
or are you not quite sure?
it was a
It-
male and an older
Okay.
male. Yeah, yeah.
I asked who was the man
Mm.
that you saw, that you guys all saw.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't have room, but the sun card is on the bottom of the deck.
Okay.
So it looks like there was an agreement. It's interesting, the Three of Pentacles, there were three of you in the car that saw him.
Yeah.
And the Queen of Wands, Queen of Swords, I mean, Queen of Wands is definitely woo. So, but look at the star card underneath and the world. I wonder if it was ET. It could have even been maybe. I mean, you got the death in the past.
Yeah, it's
Did
interesting
someone
with
die
that.
in the house? Did someone die in the house?
I was
Who the
about to
hell
ask her the
knows?
same thing. I was going to ask her
Yeah.
the same thing.
Who the hell knows? Don't know. Anything's possible, right? I mean, surely there must be, most houses people have died in.
Mhm.
I also wonder whether that was anything to do with personal change for me, but nothing really springs to mind at that particular time. But
Except you were 17, so there was a lot of changes going on too.
oh yeah, well, for sure.
I'm looking at her the major arcana, and you have three major arcana, 1, 2, 3. So
More. You got
Four,
one, two, yeah, three in the main
yeah,
spread,
in the
and
main spread.
5.
yeah.
5, yeah.
Wow.
So that
So this
was a
was
big deal.
huge.
That was a big deal. So
Yep.
if you look at the past, it has the death card. So, but the death card with the world card and the star card. So I don't see any really bad cards.
No,
But
no,
I
not at
see
all.
No.
The death is a rebirth. Like maybe it was your opening to your woo, Ally.
I think so. I
Yeah,
definitely think so.
the
For some
raven and
reason, I'm getting there was some sort of past life connection or some ancestor type energy here. And it was sort of like keying you into what was coming in the future and sort of looking over you in a sense too. So it would be something you remember throughout your lifetime, right? Because we're talking about it now. So yeah, definitely a good energy looking over you, and yeah, that's what I get.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I've always felt. It's almost like a guardian angel type thing, just checking that I'm home and everything was okay. I can't remember specifically about that journey home. You know, there might have been something slightly iffy that happened. I don't know.
Yeah,
You
that would
know,
make sense. Yeah.
But it's interesting with that magician card as well.
So, the magician
Well, he
together
just
with the wheel of
magically appeared to you. Come on.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But what
and
was the disappointment? So maybe there was something that happened on that car ride, Allie, with the Three of Swords.
Maybe.
did you guys argue in that car? Did you argue in that car?
Not that I remember. Not that I
No,
remember. I think
I
it was quite an amenable kind of evening. I can't really remember anything. I don't even think we were drinking or anything. It wasn't like that. I didn't really, you know, so some of my friends would always go to the pub at that age, but yeah, didn't really do that very much with these guys at this particular time in my life. So
Or maybe
yeah.
that could have
the
been how you're feeling afterwards, like the outcome of it, after it happened, maybe it caused a little bit of stress, like mentally. But with the advice cards, the world and the star, the outcome is actually looking very good.
Mhm.
yeah, it could have been somebody somebody that you know either in another dimension or in another life that probably left this existence in a way that was a little unsettling with it, because I'm looking at the Three of Swords. It could have been you in a different life or dimension,
Yeah.
or it could have been someone that you had to do with that was kind of looking at. It's really something how we see things that we don't know what it is, and it just immediately startles us. The unknown kind of just makes us unsettled.
Yeah.
And it's good to
Yes.
get to a point where when you see something like that, you don't immediately get startled, and not that you were, but it just by hearing the story, I'm like, oh wow, that sounds kind of weird. Nobody was in that room, but it'd be nice for the whole world to get to a point where when we see something that we don't know what it is, that it doesn't startle. But that's how we've been born and raised into this
Yeah.
Yes.
How
existence,
we've been
and this is
programmed. Yeah.
how we've been programmed. I'm pretty sure with some of the globalists, with their families, they raise those children. By the time they pop that baby out, or even while they're in the womb, they're already programming them to, you're not going to be afraid of certain things because this is what you're seeing right now. It almost reminds me of some friends that play video games, and you play these creepy video games and stuff like that. They're already programmed to whenever, if they see something like that in life, they're not really, yeah, they're desensitized. Exactly. Amanda gave me, so you're desensitized to it, but in a way to where you're open-minded, to where you're not going to be startled. And that's a good way to be. I guess we're all working on that.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I see all good cards there.
Yeah, it wasn't a negative thing, was it? So that's
Nope.
good.
Nope, not at all.
Super.
Although seeing it like that and asking in the house is like, oh my gosh, it's creepy. But we have to get over the creepy thing. We have to get over that. We have to just walk right over it, or under it, besides it, whatever. Nice.
Okay. All right, good. Who's up next? Who wants to tell us about a little experience that they've had
I'll
in
be
their
next.
life? Go on then, Bob.
I'll do it next. Well, I have a lot of stuff that's happened in my family. I mean, from the house that we used to live in New Jersey, we thought it was haunted because we like, there you go again. We thought it was haunted because we would hear certain things, and we're right next to a Catholic church. And not that I have anything against Catholics, I was actually married in a Catholic church, so I don't have anything really against it in that way. But in other ways, probably, yeah. But not to offend anybody, that the real believers, the true believers. But and aliens and stuff like that. But I have a big family. I have a lot of brothers and sisters, and a lot of us have experienced this thing that what they call sleep paralysis, and that's when you're sleeping, and then you kind of like wake up but not really, and then you can see the room that you're in, and then you can't move and you freak out. And if you Google it, or look on YouTube. There's a lot of people all around the world. It's like a global thing that a lot of people are having. They're having the same exact experience where you wake up and you can't. I read that it was some type of something neuron that was missing, or they said it was a defective nervous system or something like that. But it's really weird that so many people around the world have the same exact experience. You wake up, but you don't. You see the room, you can't move because that's a horrific feeling, and then you just freak out because like you're not used to. And then some people actually experience like a presence in the room or somebody that's trying to hurt you. One time when I was 11 years old, I that happened to me because it's happened all my life. I'm kind of used to it right now. And I could hear like voices and people like in the background. They didn't want to show themselves, like shadows. And when people talk about shadow people, people talk about the shadow man with the hat man, that type of thing. Some people see that, but I want to know it, like if there's a scientific or spiritual explanation to it, or demonic explanation. What's happened to everybody around the world? I mean, I can see if it's happening to just some people in my family or friends or something like that, but a lot of people in the world. So can we look around that sleep paralysis thing? What is it? Can we just do a general spread on it just to see what it's about, and then we'll get into the shadow thing? Can we do that?
Yeah. Do you want to pull upon a specific thing for you? You know, was there one specific kind of event that happened regarding kind of the sleep stuff? We can do the sleep stuff as well, but was there one specific thing for you, or do you want to pull on the sleep thing for you specifically?
Okay, it could be, one time it happened to me and I couldn't move, and it felt like something was trying to come over me. It was like some type of energy or a dark energy or something like that trying to get on me, and it kind of startled me even more because that usually doesn't happen. I just usually can't move, and I just freak out because I can't move like a lot of people. But this specific time is like something was I was laying on my side. It's kind of like coming, almost wrapping itself around me. So, but I don't know. I guess I'd like to really know what the sleep paralysis thing is about and why so many people around the world is having it. And then we can see what that was, maybe pull a couple of more cards with that. So let's just take a general look around the sleep paralysis, what it is, because it's curious that it happens to so many people. Sweden, Venezuela, and the United States, England, Russia, I mean, India. It happens to, it's just really weird.
Shall I
take just a
pull
jump?
on this one?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So what is sleep paralysis all about?
And by the way, a couple of years ago, I pulled on it, and I'm not going to say anything until, we get the cards out and see. And then we can go into that, what specifically happened to me. So keep your deck out. I'm going to ask you to pull another couple of cards.
Right. Yeah. Has anybody else had sleep paralysis here?
Not me.
A lot.
Sorry, muted. I have. But
Yeah.
it was mostly like when I was younger. I can't remember the exact age, but my experience was literally being in bed, feeling like I was awake, but I couldn't get up off the bed. And I don't remember any beings there. I don't remember anything scary other than the fact that I couldn't move. And that was terrifying in its own. But I was trying to remember if it was that my eyes were open, like really open, or was I just having like some sort of outer body experience because I could see everything in the room. I could see the ceiling. I feel like I was up and out of my body at one point, and then eventually I would wake up. So this used to happen a few times. I think couldn't be older than 11 when it happened, and I think it was quite a lot younger, even maybe 13 max, but between 8 years old to around that time.
And by the way, sometimes when it happens, I know that it's happening, and I try to move so much, I get so tired, then I end up just falling. After I freak out, just fall asleep. But sometimes I try to just actually get up, and I actually can move my hands, and I have my hand up like this, right? And then I try to move my hand, and I have two hands.
Can you
Wow.
talk, Barbara? Are you able to talk?
I'm like,
Okay, so you're like muffled.
just completely not really muffled, just can't move my arm. It's like, you know, and I move up, you know, lift one arm, and then I see the arm lift, and then I look down, and my arm is still down on the bed. So there's something, you know. But as far as this bad stuff that people see when it's happening, I guess that's normal, because if you're freaking out because you can't move, that's So anyway, how did you formulate the question, Ally?
What is sleep paralysis all about?
The first card is the three of wands. You think it's
Three of Wands.
kind of like traveling some type of way, being able to.
Yeah, I was
Mhm.
just thinking that, you know, you're somewhere else when this is happening. Your spirit has left your body, as it were, and of course that causes, you know, a bit of, when it's like your spirit's over in Timbuktu and you're in your bed, and of course that's gonna freak you out, isn't it, with that tower?
Yeah, and
Um,
that tower could also be a really big breakthrough,
mm.
you know, really big breakthrough. What would you say, Ali, about the eight of Pentacles there?
Yeah, it's weird. I was looking at that. Um, I sort of
That,
feel that you have to, it's almost like you've had to have done some work for you to experience almost. It's like it doesn't happen to kind of everyone. It's almost like you have to be a certain kind of level of woo, should we say? I don't know. Does anyone else get anything different for that Eight of Pentacles?
what do you think, Lynn?
You muted,
No,
mate.
I agree. I agree with the work. I'm almost wondering if it has something to do with, like, because Barbara, you will almost like astro travel, and are you waking up before your soul has returned? Because you
Yeah,
got the strategy card there too.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. That's what we got.
Yeah.
How about that Four of Cups in the middle? It's almost like your soul's being split.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Four of
It's,
Cups, I feel like that sometimes, because when it happens, it's like you might want it to happen because you're always seeking out woo, you're seeking out intuition, you're seeking out all of this stuff, and you know, you want to levitate, you want to do all this stuff, because hence the Nine of Cups. However, when it happens, it's like you're not really ready for it, and that's what that Four of Cups like. I don't want it. It's like, okay, you wanted it, and now that cloud is bringing it to you, but you're like, I don't want it because it's too freaky. You know, that's how
Mhm.
I see that. That's
But I
how
mean,
And
see
I
that.
mean, I mean, ultimately, it's not a bad thing, is it? With that 10 of Cups, I don't think. But there's definitely a strategicness behind it. It's definitely,
It's
yeah,
almost like a part of you really wants it, but then once you have it, it's kind of like that's not how I wanted it. But
yeah,
when these things happen, you can't say I want it, but I want it like that. That's just how it is, what it is, and you adapt to
mm,
it, and you embrace it.
mm,
And by the way, when I pulled cards on this a couple of years ago, this is basically what I got. And look at that Queen
oh,
of Wands and two of Cups. So there's some type of agreement there. Like there's some type
mm,
of it's a yes thing. It's like intuition,
mm,
agreement. Intuition is like, oh yes. And then Queen of Cups is intuitive too. Queen of
yeah,
Cups, Queen of Wands. This
yeah,
is
right.
stuff that your soul wants. You want to
yeah,
do it. It's just that your right brain or your left
mm,
brain is kind of like trying to be logical about it, and so that's why you freak out. You know.
I
yeah,
feel
So
like the sense I'm getting with that, is it Eight of Pentacles in the background, is that wherever you go, it's sort of hard work to get there. And it's like if your soul or spirit is leaving that body in a sense, in not totally because you're still alive, but
Mhm.
it sort of happens to where it's a lot of hard work subconsciously. It's a spiritual experience with that Queen of Wands. And it's sort of like you're leaving or traveling out of that body for a time. And with the Four of Cups, what I'm getting is your focus is on those Three of Cups, which is the body getting back into the body. But that fourth cup is needed to actually become fully back into the body. So that part of that soul or spirit is missing to actually re-energize that body, in a sense, is what I'm getting. And I feel it's a projection of that soul somewhere else with that 10 of Cups. Is it that spiritually you are projecting yourself somewhere else, possibly even to some maybe someone else you knew in a past life with that Two of Cups or something? Are you projecting yourself to a relative or somewhere else, or going back to some sort of past life experience that you're reliving or trying to relive to heal or something with that Queen of Cups? This is what came to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I
That's
agree with
nice,
all that.
nice.
I
Yeah,
have
nice
I
to
have
say.
heard that our souls, you know, they don't sleep, but our physical bodies need to sleep. So our souls are active and doing things while we sleep. So, and it's not even necessarily tied to anything else. It could be learning on different dimensions or anything.
I agree.
From what I've been learning. So I think that all,
Yeah, yeah. And with that tower, it's a major event. It's a major event. And maybe it happens all the time, but sometimes we just happen to wake up
yeah.
and realize it. And whenever you wake up and realize that, you're like, you see that tower, that's the freaking out. That's how I feel sometimes. Like, what the hell is going on? I can't move, that type of stuff. But it definitely, there's so much to sleeping and astral travel and stuff that we just don't really know.
Could
Yeah.
it be that we're doing this every night when we dream, and
Yeah.
when we have the sleep paralysis, it's just that we haven't fully come back into the body yet, It just happens sometimes, and to some people, who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Ally, do you still have your deck there?
Yeah,
Do you
still
want
on
to
deck.
pull in? You want to pull another couple of cards to see what this it is about these presences that people feel so that, or the hat, this, let's say that maybe you should do another pull on that, the hat man.
Let's do that in a second. Do you have any more questions about sleep paralysis specifically for you for this with this deck, rather than pulling with the same thing?
Oh no, thank you, because these cards just confirm what I pulled a couple of years ago. Same thing.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
let's come back to the Hat Man after we've done Kaila and Lynn, because we might go down a couple more rabbit holes on that, because that's slightly kind of off tangent. But yeah, this is interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right. Who wants to go next, Kaila or Lynn?
On my
guess
screen,
I'll-
you're pointing at Ally.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to do like the point up, because on my screen, Kaila is on top. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Kaila,
so
it's you.
as you all know, I've had quite a few woo experiences, especially recently, but the one I chose is one that I've not had anybody else read on except for myself. So it's a pleasure to have you all read for me today. So in 2020, me and my family lived in the Middle East. I found myself at the beginning of the pandemic with an L, because now we know a lot more about what was happening. At that time, at the beginning of it all, it was sort of confusing, emotional. I was also pregnant at the time, so I got pregnant around March of that year. And so lots of emotions flowing, not knowing what's happening. Anyway, so it was a sort of hard pregnancy. I remember sitting at the table, at the dinner table, and having some back pain and just resting. And then something happened to me that never happened before. It was like if a vision of like a picture just came in front of my eyes, but there's actually nothing there. And it was a picture like of a face of a female person, somebody that I didn't actually know at the time. It was so clear and it lasted for like minutes on end. It was almost as if I could stay with the image if I wanted to, which was so strange. And yeah, so at the time I didn't know who this person was or anything like that. But it appeared as if it was an old picture. It, you know, like lots of us would have like old black and white pictures of family way back when. And as this was happening, I was telling my husband exactly what I was seeing. Of course, he probably thought I was crazy, but so I was like, it was like the picture just stayed in front of me and I can move my eyes around and see details of it, which was so strange. So I sort of memorized the face in my head. I wrote it in my diary because I was journaling at that time. I was very much into spiritual work and energy work and so on already. Fast forward to more than a year later, we had moved out of the Middle East into Canada, closer to family. And, you know, during the situation in the world that was happening, we felt, you know, being closer to family and we were making a better decision. Then, I mean, this is a whole other story, but came to the West and the West was not as I remembered. It was way worse, I would say. And I was questioning to, you know, myself, why did I bring my kids into this world? It was like an emotional battle happening. Anyway, my mother-in-law introduced me to Telegram and some truthers, and then I went through all of the rabbit holes. And then I found someone on YouTube who I had not known about before. And this would be Janine Morisot, pictured on the screen. And I didn't draw that connection at the time even because sometimes you don't, I had sort of forgotten the experience too. And the person I saw in the picture had some features that looked sort of native or indigenous about it too. It looked like not necessarily this life, but you know, sometimes people draw reference to sometimes people coming into another life and having a resemblance of a past life. So that's the idea I got because the image looked like a really old image. And it was while going through all of her videos and I went into this huge awakening process of realizing what was happening in the world that I realized this was the person that I saw in that image. So my question would be just a general look, be able to pull on this, what happened, you know, with that vision for me.
So I've got a question there. So when you realized that it was Janine, how did you feel? Did you go, well, this is really weird. This is that
I
person
did,
that I saw.
but it was also like led me on a whole road to where I am today of awakening to our spiritual power and intuition. So what made it even more profound to me was I felt like this was my guides or my higher self speaking to me. So when it happens this way, I take notice of it more rather than somebody telling me something or reading something. I felt there is something there for me, whatever it is. Sometimes it could be a small message, sometimes it could be something big, but she ended up playing a huge role in my awakening. So this was a big deal to me. So, and I read a bit on it. I can't remember what I got. It was so long ago, but so just a look around this.
And it's really interesting that we are here today because we all did the Tarot by Janine Tarot course, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, that's very, very interesting. How long ago did you find Janine, Lynn, Barb?
So, oh, go ahead.
Because you
Yeah,
found her in
this would have been 2021
right?
for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I think 2020, somewhere around there, because I had Jaco and she would be with Jaco and JC
Right.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm pretty close to being around 4 years ago that I found her.
Yeah.
She was still a guy. She was still a guy, and then her and Jaco would do the JC thing.
Yeah. How about you, Bob?
2021.
Yeah, I think it must have been 2021
Same time as
for me
Kaila.
too. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it must have been that time.
Isn't that something? Because she had a YouTube channel way before 2021.
About 2017, did it 2017, did she say? she started that? I can't remember.
Can't
I don't
remember.
know, but
She
it was
used to draw. I
Not
know she
sure.
used to pull cards on the Royals and all kinds of stuff, and it wasn't until she started. Yeah, but that's what got her waking up because her cards were disagreeing with her. I remember her saying.
Yeah. Okay. So
yeah. So
sorry. Question again,
so it was
Kyla?
it was for Tarot Janine Margeau, Tarot by Janine, tarotbyjanine.com. TBJ, I think it's tarotbyjanine.com if anybody wants to check her out. She's the one that's responsible for putting all of us together. She didn't do it on purpose, but we all got to know each other through her. So if she's watching this video or if she will watch this video in the future, thank you, Janine. And we're waiting
Hi,
for you to come
Janine.
on our show. We're waiting for you to come on our show,
Yes.
dear.
Yeah.
And we appreciate you and love you.
Yeah. And everybody else, Jean-Claude and the whole team
Yes.
over there. So we love you
And
and
beyond mystic.
we're Beyond Mystic, Jean-Claude of Beyond Mystic. Waiting for you to come on this show. Thank you, dear.
So what's your precise question again, Kyla, about this?
I guess just a general look around it. You guys can phrase the question how you wish. Because
Who-
this was all new to me.
Yeah.
Barbara,
Who-
you want to pull?
Who
Barbara?
was a
Yeah.
Bob?
Sure. Now, you said you were pregnant whenever you had this vision?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And this was
Very
in
interesting
2020.
too, because my son also played a huge role in my awakening, as you all would know. And that's for another topic.
We
Because
can
of
do a
the
whole
old-
video on that one too.
The regular ones that they give them.
I think you could ask, was the vision of the woman, was it Janine? I mean, unless you know for sure it was Janine.
I know for
Was
sure
it-
it was Janine. I
Yeah.
would just a general look around it. What
Okay.
was this
general-
about, you know?
Okay, general look around it. Okay.
Mhm.
When you saw this vision, was the vision kind of transparent? Could you see the real world through it, as it were, or
Yeah,
was
it was kind of like you
just
had
opaque?
to, like I can see everything behind it, but I was also practicing like lots of other spiritual stuff. Like I was doing the Jose Silva method of projecting energy and so on. So part of that is like learning to do like a screen in front of you. So it was interesting that I was actually doing that at the time, and this came. I didn't even reach very far into the course.
So were you in bed when this happened, you said?
No, I was
I'm
just
sorry, I know you said it.
sitting at the dining table.
Had you been trying to manifest something?
Yeah, I had been working, I would say working spiritually very much since 2011 when I started to see the numbers, but then went through several Dark Night of the Soul periods, and those kind of pushed me even more. And I would say working very spiritually with energy and manifesting from around 2017 or so.
At this particular time, were you trying to manifest anything in particular? Can you remember?
I was trying to manifest like my own business. And
Okay.
interesting that I was trying to manifest something specifically, but the universe sort of put me on a different path. It was like,
Okay.
no, this is not for you. Here you go, another pregnancy, and you need to move to Canada. And strange enough, this is where Janine is.
Well, okay, that's
So-
what I got.
So how did you formulate your question, Barb?
Well, she said she said she knew it was Janine, so she just wanted to do a general look around it.
So the first card down is Kyla?
I guess you can
Situation.
consider, is just a situation, just a general look around that situation of her.
That would make sense to
having
it being me, actually. This is how I was feeling at the start of the pandemic too.
I think we're
kind
all
of like
feeling
inner
that,
con-
aren't we?
inner conflict.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, inner conflict and worry, because sometimes the Nine of Swords under
Mhm.
that is unnecessary worry, but actually it can also mean that it was worrying you. But well, it is not necessary worry, but it was worrying you. The Five of Swords with the Eight of Wands, it was quite a lot of it. that was
Mm.
happening to you, that was coming out through your either your dreams or your thoughts. With the six of Pentacles, it was actually coming out to you, it was manifesting, let's say, because it's Pentacles. And the moon is your intuition.
Mm. Yeah.
I see that intuition coming through.
Yeah, and the Eight of Wands there, you know, things. Do you think things moved more quickly in terms of your awakening, kind of after this time?
For sure, 100%. Yeah.
And you've got the Six of Pentacles in the background. I feel that this is like a quid pro quo. I never say this. Quid pro quo for stuff that you've done before, where you've kind of helped people out. And so it was the universe's gift to you. This is the path that you need to go. You need to find this woman, and this, you know, and when you find this woman, then you'll know you're on the right path, and that will take you down a few different other avenues. And I feel that there's, with that Three of Pentacles in the future, then it's all built on strong foundations, and it's a conglomeration of people, which will bring you material kind of bounteousness, with that King of Pentacles. I mean, I love the sun at the bottom of the deck. I mean, that's just like, it's all gonna be good, Kaila. It's just all gonna be good. How would you read the Four of Pentacles with the Ace of Wands there as the clarifiers? Does that mean anything to you? Because
I would say it was like a
holding things
spark.
back.
I think it was like a spark of spiritual energy, but it was the beginning of something, like a call to action. And it has to do with taking a longer term view of the world and what's happening with that Four of Pentacles. And that, you know, the transition, this was like me in the middle of, when you're living in the Middle East, it's sort of like you're, at least where I was, it was like being in a nice environment that's closed off and sort of protected from the rest of the world. But it was like bringing me to a point of looking at the real bigger picture, what was really happening in the world. So it's like taking a longer term view of what's actually going on, I think.
Yeah, and I kind of feel with that moon in the middle, it's total intuition, because that's how it manifested to you. And with the Four of Pentacles, it's like you were kind of close it, because fours are closed, and you were like holding on to that passion and that energy that wanted to get out, that intuitive passion, intuitive energy that wanted to get out. And you were probably, up until that moment, you were kind of like holding it back and doing other things with your life, and not really opening up to that side of you as much as you are now.
And
It was
I'm
almost
sure
like you're bursting to get it out, but you know, you had the baby on the way, and you were in a foreign country, and there was other things that actually was happening in your life at the time. But that intuitive energy, that spark, I see that as a spark that you was kind of holding on to, and then then you opened up to it.
Makes sense.
And I'm sure with that moon card, you know, I'm sure this opened up a whole can of worms, and some of them weren't particularly fun for you to experience, right?
For sure.
But you had to go through that to, you know,
to wake up. Yeah.
To wake up, and to ultimately to get to that sun, which is what you're heading towards, and that King of Pentacles as well, which is quite nice, which is quite lovely.
Thank you.
What do you have? Do you have anything to add to that, Lynn?
Nope. Sounds good, ladies.
Yeah. All right. So basically that was Janine coming to you. You didn't know who she was. You saw the image, and it's something how each pass.
That's mad, isn't it?
It's step takes you to, and then you realize like, oh wow, that was the person that I saw, which
Has,
helped me to.
has anybody else had such a distinct image of someone, and
Yeah.
then they've found out who that person is, like, you know, a few months or years down the track, and went, I remember seeing that person. Have you guys had that as well? Yeah.
Yeah, that has happened to me, and I'll tell you about that. So, but I have these visions sometimes. I could just, when I'm relaxing, I have images coming to me, people, children, a city, you're at a bar, at a park, in somebody's house. I'm always in people's houses, and it's embarrassing because they could be laying on the bed, and I see them I'm like, oh my gosh, I see that old lady in the kitchen. What is she? Oh my gosh, what? And then but I have to be relaxed in order for that to happen. I have to be in I don't know if they call it gamma mode or
Theta.
Later.
theta.
Yeah.
Theta. I've been at almost like, I hope I get to theta because that's where the gurus really meditate and get to theta. But I'm really in the deep, and I get these images. And one time I actually had a dream about somebody, and then I actually met him. Yeah, and he wasn't a
Wow.
boyfriend.
I think he wanted.
I think he wanted. Huh?
Was he quite instrumental in your life then,
No,
after
no.
you met this person?
No, no, not at all. I mean, I met him and we spoke and everything, and probably in another lifetime, we probably would have had a relationship. But I was kind of like already in a relationship, and of course, he wanted to have a relationship because I had to dream about him. But he's still my friend on Facebook, and we don't really see each other. But it's really odd that I had that dream, and I said, "Wow, that is him." When I saw him, I looked at him, I was like, "That's the guy that." And I'll tell you what the dream was. I can't really tell you the dream on YouTube, but
Is this not for children?
I think I just told you. And it was crazy because he looked at me like he knew me too, But people look at people when they think they like somebody, they look at you like, but I looked at him. I was like, wow, that's that guy that was in my dream. So we have to pull on that one day. I mean, that's another woo that.
Yeah.
Anyway. Awesome story, Kaila.
Lynn,
Awesome.
have you had a vision of someone and then you've met them and
Nope. Not to
No?
my knowledge anyway. I
No.
mean, I know I've been places before that I know I've been to or seen, not necessarily in this lifetime. What we're told is deja vu, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, had that a squillion times,
Yeah.
right? And it's just really super weird every time it happens.
And,
It's like,
I think, like you go by in passing and meeting someone and like, I know you, but
Yes.
there's always been that, but.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Lynn. So what's your woo experience? Tell us.
I'll go with past lives. How about that?
Okay. All right.
So, 12 years ago, I was in Europe and I was in Normandy and I was on the beaches and I was at Pointe de Hook, looking down on the beaches, and I literally saw all the troops and the armies and soldiers coming on shore. And I was like, oh, that's weird. World War II. I was like, oh, okay.
So you were literally standing on top of the cliff at this point.
On top of the cliff 12 years ago, seeing all the soldiers coming up to the shore. Yep.
And this is not a dream.
This was not a dream. I was there and I was seeing it. And I blew it off at the time because I was like, I must have watched, a war movie. I was thinking Saving Private Ryan, but then I started thinking about it. I'm like going, I've never seen Saving Private Ryan before. So I was like, okay. Come back to a few years ago. I think I had Ashley drawing cards and I asked her about it. And I found out that I was actually a German general in Normandy. Now bring my friend Peter into this, who I went to high school with. He actually has visions. He remembers being on those U-boats and he never made it to shore. He remembers getting shot and drowning. So our big joke is that I commanded the shots that took him out. And that's why we had to be in this lifetime together, because I had to make it up to him. So is there any correlation between him being in this lifetime with me from that? Is that kind of like a karma thing that we're dealing with? How's that?
That's pretty good. Who wants to pull?
Barbara, you're muted.
I'm sorry, what was the question? I had to blank out for a second. How did you frame the question?
Was there some karmic reason for me and Peter being in our lives this life because of the World War II? I mean, was I the commander that said fire? That actually was he coming up on the shore that I was actually, in charge of?
So if there's a connection between that, is what you're saying.
I'm asking, yeah.
Looks like Kaila's pulling.
Kaila's got a
He's on
fast,
it.
the cowboys, they fast draw.
Exactly. This is our Kaila.
It's like 1, 2, 3, quick draw. Quick draw.
I know we have a long show today, so.
So I've got a question about that, Lynn. So when you were standing on the top of the cliff and you saw these people, how long did you see these people for? Was it like you were looking over and then you looked away and then you looked back?
I couldn't even tell you how long it was, because I had friends there that were with me. I just remember looking down going, oh, that's really weird. It was like I could see everything. I don't think it was very long, like I said, because we were walking along the shores and everything. So I don't think it was that long.
And was it just you that saw these people? Did you mention it to the others?
No.
Okay.
No, because I figured they'd think I was cuckoo.
Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
I didn't even know what was going on at the time, because that was 12 years ago.
Yeah.
So when you saw these images, did you see them? Did they look physical, or did they look like they were see-through, or how did you actually vision this?
Was it like real people at that point?
It looked like real people. It looked like a scene from the movie where you could see them all coming up. It wasn't like shadow people. I mean, it wasn't. Yeah, it was
almost like a deja vu.
It was like it was like the movie was replaying in my head.
Wow. That's deep.
That's deep, Lynn. Like I have the feeling like I must have probably went up, looked over, and was like, all right, that's it, they're coming,
So my question was around, is there truth and integrity to the question that Lynn asked, not about the whole situation, but to where she was asking about herself and Peter, and was she the one who called the shots that got him killed? So the first card 1 is Lynn, and the card number 2, the 9 of Cups, is Peter.
Yeah. Well, where I would start is in the past, but this is like the really past. And I'm looking at that justice card, and justice, when we have questions like that, that's almost like a karmic type of thing.
Definitely.
So just by looking at that one card, I'm thinking, even if I didn't see the other cards, it's like something karmic that happened. So it looks like you and Peter have something karmic that happened. And pertaining to the questions that you asked, I would say that yes, that would be a yes to my answer. Karmic.
Yeah, and I feel that it was Peter that kind of pushed you two together in this life. Whereas if you're the 9 of Swords, I feel like you're a bit mortified because of what you did in that life to him, and so he pushed you back together for whatever reason. And it's interesting, you got the World and the Hermit at the bottom, haven't you?
I can let me explain something to you. Peter Peter is 3 years older than me. So he graduated in 1981. I didn't graduate until 84. And I hadn't seen him until probably about 5 years ago when his wife died. I believe his wife that passed away, Mary, is actually the one that put us all together, because now he's dating Susan, who is one of my mediums and stuff like that as well. And Susan was actually also in World War II. She remembers being a British doctor.
Wow.
Wow, for real.
That is, we need a show just for that.
Oh my goodness.
And I think you would have a deja vu experience, because look, that hermit is kind of like your inner old soul.
I mean,
So
we've got 5 major arcanas in this pool, right? So
I
it
was
was
just
like,
going to say that.
yeah,
And look at where they are,
really big.
past, present, future, justice, the moon, and the world.
Yeah.
you guys definitely have that karmic connection.
I get the feeling that you're going to be doing good stuff together in the future as well. That's what I feel. I feel like with that 10 of Pentacles, maybe, that's often a social media card. Maybe something like, almost, I feel like there is definitely going to be things that are going to heal the rifts between you in previous lives, for whatever that was. But I also kind of feel like it was just a play act.
Yeah.
It was like, well, you act the bad guy this time, and I'll act the good guy, and you'll shoot me, and then we'll come
and think
back
about
and
how
we'll do
many
a
other
different
people
play.
on those U-boats didn't make it. And how is it Peter? Yeah, so there might be more to it than that. And you want to know what's really funny? Is Peter's parents were actually born in Germany during World War II.
Oh, wow.
So he was actually the German in this lifetime.
Right.
Well, how about that?
But that would all make sense, wouldn't it, as well?
Yep.
Yeah.
But I agree.
It's okay, Barb, go ahead.
Agree. Oh, I was just going to add, I agree with Ally. They're going back and forth with the play thing, because maybe with that 8 of cups, not that 9 of cups, it's almost like he almost wanted it to kind of, because that's a wish come true card, and all of that if you were responsible for what happened to him, that's a wish come true for him, because that's his card.
Yeah.
And the eight of cups with the magician is like, yeah, I want to get out of this life so we can do another life, So go ahead and do me. Go ahead and do me this time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and to add, exactly. To add to that, what I was getting is that, yes, it may have been you in that life, but before that, what did he do to you? So it was like with the Hermit, the World, and the 10 of Pentacles, what I'm getting here is you guys have had many lifetimes together, and it's like coming into this one to complete a cycle with the World card.
Yeah.
There's always been that like brother sister type thing between us.
Yeah,
the
push and pull, the back and forth.
Yeah, well, hence the 10 of Pentacles, which is also family card.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes. Hearing you say that, yeah, you could definitely have had like 10 of these little play acts, as it were, together.
10 or even multiple.
Well, exactly.
Yeah. Even more than that.
But isn't that a lovely kind of way to kind of look at life, when which it reminds me of when I used to do plays with my friends when I was a kid, and we used to do it in my loft, or used to do it in my friends' houses, and if everybody kind of knew that that's how it was, no one would be scared, would they?
Right.
No one would be scared of kind of departing this mortal coil, and no one would take it very seriously, because we would all know that it's just a play act, and let's come back and we'll play different parts next time, because I didn't really like that part that you gave me, so let's swap it all around this time.
But then again, you see, that's how we have been indoctrinated. We've been manipulated. We've been programmed. There's so many things that we really don't know. Somebody said, you don't really know who you are.
Yeah.
You'll see who you are. And I'm like, who said that? Justin Trudeau. He has nothing to do with the Trudeau, with that one. But Justin Trudeau, if you all can take a look at it, he has a a channel on YouTube, but he was one of the first people that I followed to kind of like open my eyes to even simple, the first beginning things like the medicine and the pharmaceuticals and that type of stuff, Justin Trudeau. And he has this audio series that he did, I think maybe 15 years ago. It's called Your Wish is Your Command. Your Wish is Your Command. If you want to check that out, it's awesome. But he said, you don't know who you are. I'll get to that one of these days. But that's how we've been programmed like that. And it's whatever we don't know, we get afraid of it. It creeps us out. And that's how we've been hypnotized.
Yeah.
And I would really like to see one day where we can get over that creepy thing and really get to know who we are and what we're capable of doing. And that it really could be like that, like Lynn and Peter, you know what I mean? So
yeah. All right.
Lynn and Peter, there's a song in there somewhere. Lynn and Peter.
Should we finish by asking about these hatmen that we were talking about earlier?
Yeah.
Barb was talking about. Have you got a little clip, Lynn, of hatmen and what they are? Do you have it to hand? So
while she's finding it, I can explain.
Yeah, explain, please. Yeah.
Yeah, basically, a lot of people, they associate this experience, it's a phenomena, they call it, where whenever people are kind of like in between awake and sleeping, they kind of see, they feel these evil presences. And in particular, they see a man, some people call him Slim Man, Slender Man, Hat Man, and he's just cloaked like in a detective jacket and his hat on. And some people say he's awfully scary, and he feeds off of fear. And I think they kind of.
Do you want me to actually play this whole? You don't want me to play this whole 5 minutes?
No,
not
the whole thing. But
just play like either a small bit of it or like an image of it.
Yeah, but before she starts playing it, I think there's a movie based off of this thing called the Freddy Krueger series. And when you go to sleep, the man gets you. But a lot of people around the world have that. And in fact, if you go to this video and you read the comments, you can see here, some of the bad comments where people are just telling their experiences. But before you do that, please say a prayer or meditation or something like that, because it can really kind of get to you if you're scared by these types of things. If you're not,
put your protection
up. Yeah, put your protection up. So we're just going to show a little piece of.
But I fear him, I do for sure.
I wanted to speak to someone who could make sense of all of this.
I think it is a real challenge for the kind of scientific explanations to explain why some of these themes seem to crop up time and time again.
Chris is a psychologist who studies paranormal experiences. He says people who see things like the Hat Man aren't crazy or lying. That fear and that vision is real, but the explanation has a lot more to do with culture than ghosts.
If you look at the way it's interpreted across different cultures, that's absolutely fascinating, because you've got the same core experience, but it's kind of got this cultural overlay.
Bueno, aunque la gente me dice que esto es algo, dice que es natural, de un trastorno del sueño y todas esas cosas, pero otra cosa es que uno lo viva, lo sienta, porque para mí eso es algo espiritual, digamos, no ataque demoníaco, digamos.
This nightmarish figure has inspired art and myths across cultures and history. In Assyria and Babylon, an evil spirit was said to leap upon unsuspecting victims as they slept.
Is that a good place to stop?
Yeah.
Give you enough.
And perhaps as well, what we were saying before about, sleep paralysis, when your soul is off doing other things or is being fragmented or whatever, maybe that's an opportunity for this kind of entity to try and gain access, as it were. That could be one thing. But what specific question?
Kaila, you rewatched the Paul Wallace. Can you give a brief synopsis of what Paul said about it too?
You're muted, mate. You're muted, Kaila.
Oh, sorry. So Paul Wallace gave a different perspective, and he didn't specifically call it the Hatman, if I remember correctly. He was speaking about shadow beings. And he spoke about more instances where people had experiences. It was again all around the world, but it was more of a neutral presence of observation. Like there's somebody there, a cloaked figure, not necessarily wearing a hat, but something over their head, like a hood. There was definitely talk about something over the head. You can't see features or anything like that, but it's more of like observation. He spoke about different situations where, in some instances, he spoke about a friend who was having this experience in the UK, and when he moved out of the UK, it stopped happening. And then when he came back to the UK in a different house, even, it started happening. So he was talking about, is this, locational? Does it have something to do with a location? Could it be that someone is projecting their energy or astral traveling? Is this how you appear to people when you do astral travel and you appear somewhere else? Because these people, he did not speak about, like, it was terrifying in the sense that, it was strange, so people get scared, but they weren't actually doing anything like the hatman. People talk about him like being over people's bodies and pushing down on their bodies or whatever. So he had a whole different perspective where he was just questioning the theory. Is it multi-layered? Is there more to it? He
Yeah,
even
I
spoke
watched
about,
that.
sorry,
Go ahead.
just to
No, go
end,
ahead.
he even spoke about like 2 cases that it was actually positive. And if I remember one correctly, it was where someone saw a shadow being enter a hospital room, and then the child got better after. So my thought is it multi-layered? I think there are entities that are negative. Could this be like spirit guides even? Could it be other beings that are just observing from different realms? I don't know.
Yeah, I watched that video too, and I liked his video. I liked his perspective. Although there's other videos where people have had experiences where they actually, I guess they were able to get up and confront, the whole thing is a little bit creepy anyway, because we're not used to it. You wake up and you see so much. Look, if I'm sleeping, I wake up and I see my sister watching. That's that creepy anyway. Let's just say if you wake up, you see anybody just watching you. Much less somebody that's not supposed to be in your house and has a hat on just watching you like that. That's really scary. But some people say, they have the beady eyes, the red eyes, and some people say that you can't see the face. It just really is terrifying. So maybe there are different layers to it. But what I'd like to know if it's in general, in general, because otherwise we have to do a whole show on this one. In general, is that who is he? Who is he, and what does he stand for? What does he want? Or if we can do a general spread around what people are experiencing called the Hatman. You want me to pull on it?
I can
Who
pull.
pulled last time? Yeah, you pull, Alan. Okay.
I can pull. So sorry, the question is again?
So we just want to just get a general reading around this
The
phenomena where
energies
people,
of the hatman, and is it good, bad? What's
yeah,
happening basically? Yeah.
or is it
Yeah.
both, or is it layers, or what? See what
Yeah.
the universe wants
Sometimes you
to
hear
wants
them
to.
mention specifically the Hatman, and sometimes you hear them say shadow beings. I'm
Shadow
almost
people.
wondering, is it totally different? Because
Two different things, yeah.
did you notice, like when they talk about the terrifying experiences, do they usually say the Hatman and not like a shadow being? I'm not sure. I haven't researched this enough. So
You see,
Ali's
that's the
pull is going
thing.
to be on the Hatman, yeah?
Yeah, I would like to pull on a hat. Some people say the hat man, some people say shadow beings that are just, but I would like to know, because there's so many people are talking about this specific hat man that they see. So let's see what there could be layers. Let's see what the universe wants us to know about that.
All right.
And to our listeners, if you've had any experiences, it would be nice if you share it in the comments too.
Yes.
We'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely.
Um, we've got 3 major arcanas in this pool.
How did you phrase the question? I mean, just
a
general look around.
general look around, positive, negative. I don't see any real negative cards here. There's that.
So I see the world card, which is the major arcana in the basic spread. The world, it's like I'm thinking that it affects the world because, like I was saying, in different countries, India, Spain, Africa. I mean, there's people all over YouTube that you can go in and look at the comments. They're writing from all over United States and everything. So I think it is affecting the world. The Five of Pentacles, it almost makes the world feel like like they're like left out. It makes them feel horrible. It makes them feel that they're alone. It makes them feel like they're missing something. It doesn't make them feel too good because if you look at the Five of Pentacles on the bottom right, the 2 people that are walking out in the snow, it makes us feel helpless. Because the Five of Pentacles, that's almost like a person feeling helpless. So that's what I get with those 2 cards.
I think it's interesting with the Page of Cups in the middle. I mean, often it happens as a surprise, right? It's just like they don't tend to kind of tell you in advance that they're coming. It's like a surprise, here I am.
It happens as a surprise. It happens as a surprise, but a lot of the people that are writing in the comments, a lot of it happens when they're children.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah. Well, that would make sense, wouldn't it?
No,
You
no,
know
the 6
what
of
this, sorry, go ahead, Bob.
no, go ahead, Kaila. I already.
I was just like looking at the images, the cards here, and I'm not seeing like anything super bad in terms of we're not seeing the devil or anything like that. What
No.
was nice to see is the Five of Pentacles showing it's some sort of it is definitely a temporary experience in the fact that I think it's definitely terrifying, but how many people have had like a lasting, something happen after that that caused like a lasting problem? I don't think it's usually causing like a lasting problem or injury or anything, at least as far as I know. From the Four of Pentacles, this is sort of giving me an impression this whoever this being is not from, it's sort of like in between worlds. It's something unique that's from in between worlds. With this poll actually reminds me of a comment that I saw under the Paul Wallace video where somebody spoke about having those experiences and it was negative in the sense that Paul Wallace spoke about it being like an observer and neutral energy, but the person in the comment said it was negative to them. And they were having this happen even into adulthood. And when they dealt with their PTSD and past life traumas and wounds, it stopped happening. So with these cards, for some reason, I'm sort of getting that impression coming back here. Is it that, because we have the Six of Wands and we have the Three of Pentacles, right below it. And so this is Six of Wands is usually a good card. With the World and the Five of Pentacles, is it like some sort of setback? This is not emotional. This is actually a physical setback with the Five of Pentacles, but the Page of Cups could be something emotional. Maybe it's something coming back to be dealt with. This is something like hidden, some emotional something with the Queen of Cups that is coming up to be dealt with. I'm not sure. For some reason, it reminded me of that comment.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
I think that's right. And in that King of Wands, it's kind of happening in a kind of unusual kind of way because he's a bit of an unusual chap, isn't he, with his nice colourful cloak and he's a bit more of an I want to say extrovert, but that's not the word I mean, kind of a bit flamboyant. So it's a bit of a weird and wonderful way kind of going around it. But well, what do you guys get with the clarifiers with the Emperor and the Justice card there?
Well, I have to go back to what Kaila said first because when I was reading through those comments, because I read that comment too, Kyla, and I was
Mm-hmm.
thinking, wow, well, that's not really consoling for people that have the experience where that same hatman, they say that it chokes them. It physically sticks a hand and chokes them. So I'm thinking that it could be something that some experiences that they went through, like PTSD or something that they have to deal with. And it's almost like this hatman gives you hard love. Like hard love is like I got almost have to choke you to wake you up to get yourself together. According to the cards, because we want the universe to let us know what we need to know about this hatman in general. And a lot of people say,
Yeah.
oh, he chokes them.
I
It's
almost feel like, as you mentioned, that is it bringing them back to a past life, how they died, or some traumatic experience that they had, and it's projected as a being, but is it just them feeling engulfed in this negative energy? I don't know. I'm just thinking. And then there was something else I wanted to say, and I can't remember what it was. So
The
go
king
ahead,
of
Barb.
the king of wands can also be overcoming challenges, and that's what you've agreed to, and that was you might be trying to walk away from it, but the king of wands is like, no, you've got to do this. Like Kyla was saying, the person started dealing with their PTSD, which is kind of like your knight of wands too. They're persevering. So when you do the work, you might be dealing with this, but you're going to get justice. You're going to be okay afterwards. Yes, it might be scary, but it seems like, is it scary because, like you said, Barbara, most of this has happened to people when they're younger? I mean, obviously, so I could see where a child would think it's more fearful necessarily than maybe an adult would too. I don't know.
Yeah, and in fact, most of the comments that I saw where the people say they were being choked by him, by this entity, they were mostly adults, but children are just terrified because they see it at the foot of their bed or wherever, on the corner, mostly in the corners and stuff like that.
Right.
But a
It's
lot of
like the
people just
monster that lives under the bed, right? I mean, that's that
Yeah.
monster
yeah
thing, isn't it?
yeah
We
yeah.
are
But a
In
our
lot
my
of
worst
experience,
enemies.
yeah,
but
and
a
in my
lot of
experience, sometimes past life trauma comes up at any time in your life. It doesn't, a lot of it would be like when you just enter a new birth. So it's not unusual that children would have this experience, but then it could be suppressed and then come up later on. So also adults. And I'm wondering if the whole fear factor is, again, as Bob was explaining at the beginning, is like it's pushed in many cultures. This is a scary thing. It shouldn't be happening. Is something wrong with it? That kind of thing.
yeah
So it gets you
a
even
lot
more
of
scared.
Yeah, a lot of the adults that say that they're having these experiences, some of them say they have the choking thing, but most of them, they just say he doesn't do anything, he just looks, and that freaks me out. So it's almost like some people say, well, he's just kind of looking after us. And some people say, well, he's looking after us, but he's creepy. Why is he so creepy? And then some people say, well, he actually chokes me. And some of those people are some of the people that had those PTS things. Maybe it's something that ones have to work out within themselves, and that thing is just there just to kind of help them. Like I said, I did the cards on a couple of years ago about hat people in general, because I have my special rug where they come through and they kind of look and look at me, and I take pictures and stuff. And when I did that, when I read about the hat people, I didn't get that they were necessarily evil, even though to see them, they look creepy and scary. But that might just be, according to what we ask the universe to show us, something to
Yeah,
help
and
us.
I think with that justice
I don't
card as
know.
the clarifier, I think with that justice card as the clarifier, maybe it's a justice for that individual, in this life or in past lives, maybe.
Yeah, just so many things that we just don't
Mm,
know that just scares us. Because
mm,
when we were born into this world, and most people that I know, we don't have like gurus telling us, okay, this is what happens, and then you're going to see that, or you're going to probably experience blah, blah, blah. You just don't know. You just wake up and then one day you experience that. Nobody knows anything about it, even on the internet.
mm,
So I know somebody out there knows about this stuff. Somebody out there knows about it.
mm.
And we're just kind of discovering, and thank goodness we have the tarot cards to kind of ask the universe to help us to understand it. So that's actually a good thing. I'm really glad that we did. I was kind of on the edge. I was thinking, I don't know if we should do it, but I did it a couple of years ago, and I know what I got a couple of years ago, and it's good that we can spread some information about, people that are going to be watching this video. They can kind of like it console them a little bit too, as far as the
They're not going mad.
yeah, they're not going mad, and they try not to freak out too much, and also with the sleep paralysis and everything. I hope this video helps people out there as much as it's helping me, and maybe helping you all too, to kind of settle. And we are, like a lot of people say, we're made in God's image, or the Creator's image, or we're powerful beings, we're electrical beings. We're actually the boss, but we need help sometimes. We do need help sometimes, and sometimes help might come out as being something terribly, horribly scary. So it's helps.
Yeah, and as we've said, it'd be great to hear, comments about if any of this resonates with you guys, or any of your own woo experiences would be really, really interesting. And there might be stuff that we want to pull on in the future as well. So yeah, if there's things that spring to mind, guys, just pop them below. All right, I think because we
I
go on.
want to say something really, really quickly. We were going to do this like during Halloween time, and I almost feel I don't feel offended, but I almost feel a little offended for whoever's out there in the realms out there trying to help us, or trying to help us to realize. I almost feel like we're almost offended, because it's like, then it's not a scary Halloween thing. I thought it was, but it isn't. So I'm glad we did it.
I think for me, it's what I've been realizing is there's always several layers to everything. When it comes to entities or beings that may appear, that they could be negative, they could be dark, and so you always have to put your protection in, and make sure that it's off the light. And there's certain things you can do to ensure that that's the case. And so always asking your guides to protect you and so on is always important. But then knowing that there's a whole other level to it of neutral and even positive energies is definitely something, worth exploring.
Well,
because good and bad exists.
Well,
in everything.
I read the first chapter of Abby Wynn's and Mark Atwood's was it Weapons of Mass Protection, and she talks about that she's
mass destruction.
Protection.
Is it protection?
Book is protection.
Yeah.
Oh, that means I didn't read it yet.
Sorry, Abby. Sorry, Mark.
Sorry about that.
But we intend to.
And she's talking about that she sat down and had a chat with a demon, and he was like, no one's ever asked me to do this before. I mean, it's just brilliant. I don't, which means to me, maybe they are as multi-layered as humans are. I don't know, but I'm not sure. Go on.
I can tell you how I started was with Jerry Sargent and Star Magic, and he does these really phenomenal meditations. And he said he totally freaked everybody else out one time when he actually brought Satan in for healing, because he says you draw them in and you give them what they're supposed to work on, so Satan can actually do good things. But he said it freaked so many people out, he never asked Satan to come back to any of the meditations.
I can imagine.
Yeah, because a lot of people think that you have to give him something in return.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like a lot of.
Yeah. And that's a whole nother show.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh my
God. Even the ancestors, when you have like these how do you call the tables and with the candles and how do you call that? You set up you set up a you set up a for the ancestors. It's
Seance.
It's a table that you have for the I can't remember.
I don't know.
You set up a table. No, you actually set up a table with their pictures and their favorite food and everything for the ancestors. It's called I know somebody out there, if you're watching, you know. But anyway, when you do that for the ancestors, and you ask the ancestors for help or something, you have to bring them their favorite foods, and you have to bring you. So it's always a give and take type thing,
Interesting theory.
Very interesting. Right,
We've run long.
as we had a very long show today, we'll put Lynn's 2-week pool on the Facebook
Oh yeah.
chat, because otherwise we'll go for about another 10 minutes or so, and probably everyone's just
okay.
out already. So let's finish off with a nice light song from you, Barb, as we've been quite deep and dirty today, haven't we?
Yeah. I mean, it's like talking about all this woo stuff is this, it almost, it made me a little bit like, I don't know about that. It gives me the chills almost. So I'm thinking a song that goes something like this. I got chills, they're multiplying, and I'm losing control, 'cause the power that you're supplying, it's electrifying. You remember that one? Better shape up.
Yeah.
'Cause I need that, and my heart is set on you. Come on, you got to sing with me. Anyway, there you go. There you go. You're the one that I want.
Nice.
You are the one for. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh my gosh, I was in love with John Travolta. I was in love with John. I suffered like a dog for John Travolta. Oh my gosh, and that Saturday Night Fever thing. Oh, anyway, I'm glad
he
I'm
can
over.
move, right? He can move. He can dance.
I'm so glad I'm over John Travolta. I'm over Tony Orlando, Julio Iglesias, all those Eric Estrada. I like that Latino type. I mean, I like my brothers too, of course. But
Yeah.
it just seemed like growing up in high school that the brothers did. I don't know. They weren't attracted to me. They were not attracted to me. I like this cute guy back in high school, and he liked all my sisters. Look, this brother. But yeah. Anyway, that's another show.
That is a whole another show. So if you like what you've seen here today, please like, share, and subscribe. Please comment, as we said before, and we will see you again in a couple of weeks. See you later, guys.
Bye.